talking about factory automation, we have to start a long way back, more specifically to when humanity was still in a bunch of small basic towns. People traded goods with other groups, but to make these trades they had to make things that were desirable. This resulted in small to medium-sized groups dedicating their time to making one specific thing. They had to create each part individually and then put them together, which would often take a really long time. This was manufacturing in the home and was often done by a family. This practice was commonplace for thousands of years, but go forwards a really long way and we reach the Industrial Revolution of 1760 to 1820. In this time, the first factories were being created, and it was discovered that it was a lot more efficient to have a large number of people work with machinery to create a more complicated product. In 1913, the first assembly line for the production of a whole car was made by Henry Ford. Before making this, a whole car by hand would take 12 hours, but the production line brought it down to 2.5. This was revolutionary and showed the world the potential of automation to create more things faster, but in the eyes of many, the potential to make more money. These production lines became much more widespread, making everything from clothing to furniture. Automated machines made a rise around the 1970s, but these robots were dangerous, expensive, and very hard to use. Over time, we have improved these production lines with more advanced machinery, robotic parts, and overall, a lot less human intervention. Current technology has made vast improvements with the implementation of higher motor flexibility, user-friendly interfaces, and more rigid safety standards. Nowadays, some production lines are almost fully automated, for instance the BMW car-making factories. There are only a few problems with these production lines. 1. The machines cannot detect when they have made faults. These factories are not perfect, they do still make mistakes, and these mistakes require humans to find. 2. Currently, the machines cannot put on a car's tyres. 3. The cars cannot drive themselves to where they will be sold, although this may not be the case for long, what with the rise of self-driving cars. Many repetitive and high-precision jobs are now done completely by machines, yet they still do need humans to watch out for any mishaps they may make. For instance, with the Changying Precision Technology Company. They have recently made an almost completely automated factory. This factory uses to have 650 workers and now it only requires 60. The 60 workers now just monitor the machines and the central computer system that operates them. The company head, Luo Weichang, I am not sure if I pronounced that right, stated that in the future the employee count could drop to just 20. A solution to the problem of needing people to watch over the robots is to make more robots to watch over the other robots, although this presents problems of its own, like who will watch the robot-watching robot, another robot, and then who will watch that robot, and so on and so forth. Another problem today is that while machines are very advanced, they are often incredibly specialized and can only do one job, to the point where they aren't viable for small to medium-sized businesses. At this point, the machines are property of larger companies such as BMW or Apple. The final goal for factory automation is to have lights-out factories which require no human presence at all. While this is currently still a dream, with the way technology is progressing, it might not be too far away. Despite lights-off automation sounding glorious at first glance, there is a flip side to it. The issue is that people with factory jobs will be removed and therefore become unemployed. Keep in mind that factories employ 1/4 of the world's labour force. That might not sound like much, but as of 2012, the number of people in the labour force was 3 billion, meaning that there are 120 million people working in factories worldwide. Now, you might say that while factory automation has been around for a really long time, not a lot of people have been unemployed. Well, I argue that we are at a point in time where technological advancements are being made at an incredible pace. Also remember that until fairly recently, these systems were very rigid and difficult to use, but are now fairly accessible. But I provide a solution, and surprisingly, it requires moving back to move forwards. Remember at the very start of my speech when I talked about manufacturing originally being an industry mainly done in the home? Well, I believe that with the invention of 3D printers, while the big factories are out making things like cars, people at home can make their own product quickly and easily with 3D printing. With 3D printers, individuals need not pay huge amounts of money to create their own production line. They can simply buy one and get to making their products right away. This is essentially moving forwards to a high-tech version of the home industry. So, to wrap up, factory automation has been around for a very long time and only continues to improve. The future looks bright for this fascinating industry, and I'm excited to see where it ends up. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it.